Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mannix Factor. I'm Mannix. Thank you for rocking with me on this day, evening, or whenever you're watching this. Thank you for spending a little bit with me. Starting off, by the time this video comes out, most of the semifinals for NBA playoffs will have already had their first game happen. So I'll be a little bit late. I have had finals for school that I've had to focus on, so I will have the time to fully get this out before any of that happens. So thank you for bearing with me. Last week there was no video because there was nothing new. The series hasn't finished yet, so we didn't know opponents besides, like the Thunder who swept, which we'll get to in a minute. And I didn't see anyone specifically wanting anything from my draft video, which, it went as a draft, but I didn't do bad the first few picks. And yeah, so now I'll get into a recap of all the first series that I talked about, my first NBA playoffs, and then I'll get into my predictions for the semifinals. Starting in the Western Conference to recap, OKC versus the Grizzlies. OKC won 4-0. Pretty simple. They averaged 20 more points a game. They out-rebounded them. They shared the ball a lot more. So, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, averaged almost 28 a game, 5 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game, showing everyone that he deserves to be in this MVP conversation, no matter what some are saying. And it was just, the Grizz had that good game where they were whomping, and the OKC just rallied and brought it back. So, there's not really much else to talk about that because there wasn't really a lot of back and forth, so it was a one-sided affair. So, I'll move on to the next series, which would be Rockets and the Warriors. This series, I was pretty close on this series. I believe I said I had Golden State in 6. But it ended up being Golden State in 7, so I was impressed. Very close series, obviously. They averaged the same amount of points a game. The Rockets out-rebounded, and the Warriors out-assisted for the series. Obviously, the top performer, top guy, Stephen Curry. He had a game or two there that was looking a little rough, but he still averaged 24 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5.7 assists. So he still played well. And then, it was just like a lot of back and forth. And then the offenses for the Rockets really couldn't get going in a lot of these games. I believe the Rockets, only 3 or 4 of the games, they scored over 100 points, and in 2 games they didn't score 90. And those ended up being kind of the first and last game. So it was a tough series for the Rockets, but I'm more impressed that they made it to Game 7 anyway. All right, moving on to Lakers and Minnesota. This was a shocking series, I'm sure, for most people. In my last video, I said the way things were going for LeBron and social media and stuff, I didn't really think, and due to all this talk about LeBron's legacy, I didn't think that the Lakers were going to get first rounded, and they did, and it was pretty bad. The Timberwolves won 4-1, outscored them, out-rebounded them, out-assisted them. Not by super massive margins, but all it takes is a little bit to win. Luka Doncic was probably the best player in the series. He was averaging 30 a game, 7 assists, 5.8 assists. 5.8 assists and 7 rebounds a game. But Anthony Edwards, 27 points, 8.4 rebounds and 6 assists, which is still really good. But overall, like the Timberwolves, they shot better, but not a lot better. And it's just kind of shocking looking at the stats to see that the Timberwolves won, but they played better defense. What it came down to, they were getting more steals and capitalizing more on second chances. Moving on, to finish out the Western Conference, my most anticipated series, and besides that last game, it did not disappoint. Denver ends up winning 4-3. I think I had LA winning 4-3. LA averaged very slight, more points per game. Nuggets out-rebounded, and the Clippers out-assisted. Jokic was a big player in the series, obviously the other MVP candidate. 24 points a game, almost 12 rebounds, 10 assists, averaged a triple-double in this series. And then the Claw, Kawhi Leonard, I have to shout him out. 25 points, 7.6 rebounds, 4.7 assists. He competed the most and was really trying to push the Clippers past this, but it just, especially in that last game, shooting for the Clippers just wasn't great. No one was really doing well besides Kawhi Leonard and Jokic, Gordon. Jamal Murray started slow, but once we got into the late stages of the game, he started heating up. Russ, it was just, the Nuggets just have had more success. They kind of have the recipe in hand, so I think that experience, having the MVP, probably the MVP, and all that pushed them to outplay and win this series in the end. Moving on to the Eastern Conference. Starting off, Cleveland and Miami. I believe that play-ins weren't done yet either, and I think I had Atlanta, but it ended up being Miami, and they got swept. And that wasn't surprising. I believe I predicted they got swept. Outscored by almost 30 points a game, out-rebounded, out-assisted. Donovan Mitchell, 24 points a game, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. It was just, they're a great team. They're a number 1 seed for a reason. And they just really, they just were hot. And they've got a lot of momentum. They've had a lot of time to rest. And, there's not really much else to talk about this series because it just kind of came and went. None of the games were really that close. The Cavs won by 21. Then 9, then 37, I want to say that is. And then the last game was by 50-plus points. So it was just never close. It's not really much else to talk about in the series. It's kind of just a shellacking. Moving on to Boston and Orlando. I think I got this one right on the money, 4-1. I figured that Orlando would steal a game in there, and they did. But they were Celtics outscored Orlando in every category of the 3 points, rebounds, assists. Jason Tatum, 31.3 points a game, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. The Celtics have won recently, kind of the same argument. They're ready for this and they're built for this. And that showed here, just domination pretty much in the most games. They lost by 2 in the game against the Magic, so nothing else. Jason Tatum's looking Jason Tatum-ish, so moving on to New York and Detroit. I believe I also got this one on the money. I either said 4-1 or 4-2 to New York. And Jalen Brunson, again, he being showing up in the playoffs like he does, 31.5 points a game, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, and yeah, just domination across the board. The Pistons out rebounded the Knicks and out assisted, and the Knicks barely had more points. But that it didn't really feel that way. It felt like the Knicks kind of always had control, in my opinion, and just really, I didn't really have any doubts even after, because I just didn't think that the Pistons were going to come back from when it started, when it was 3-1. I just never would have thought the Pistons would make up that difference. All right, moving on to our last series to recap, another one that was also very shocking. The Pacers beating the Bucks 4-1. I got this dead wrong. I kind of predicted what the Bucks needed to do right. They just didn't deliver, right? Giannis, 33 points a game, 15 rebounds, almost 7 assists. He was doing everything, and his teammates just weren't helping. He just got like zero help, and so you can't really. It's a team sport at the end of the day. And Tyrese Halliburton ended up being kind of the main guy for the Pacers, 17.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 11.6 assists. So very Tyrese Halliburton numbers, just sticking to the script. Pacers outscored the Bucks, but they were out-rebounded, and of course, because Halliburton's is like a point guard, is dishing it out a lot, they averaged 30 assists a game, which is really good. And besides Giannis just doing everything he can to score and just do everything he can, it just just wasn't enough. All right, moving on to the second round of the playoffs and my predictions for them, starting with the Western Conference again. The Thunder and the Nuggets. I believe this will be... It's tough. OKC dominated, but I thought Jokic and the Nuggets, just recent history in the playoffs. Both of them have MVP candidates. I think this game's going 7 series. I could definitely see it going 6. I just think it's 7. And the reason I think it's 7 is because I think I'm going to stick with the Thunder as I did. Thunder winning in 7. I just think, based off what I've seen from the Thunder and from the team, I think they can learn early, especially if they go down early. I think they can learn and adapt and really outplay the Nuggets. And another thing for me is there's like Jokic, there's playoff Murray, there's Russ, who I love, but I think Russ can also be a liability. I think as much as he is one of my favorite players, sometimes, it wasn't like that in the last series, but he could be a problem for the Nuggets. Kind of should be a shot in the foot for them. I don't necessarily think that'll happen. I just think that the Thunder just are more complete, seem to be better as a team. They're 1 seed for a reason. I'm thinking I think the Thunder will win in 7. And obviously, SGA would probably be the MVP and Jokic of the series, not of the league. Or Jokic. It's probably going to be one of those two. Third candidate's probably Jamal Murray, because he, in one of these games, I'm sure Jamal Murray is probably going to have north of 35, 40 points. So, moving on to the other Western Conference game, Timberwolves and Warriors. Originally, when I was thinking this through, I wasn't even sure what I was going to think was going to. I always thought the Thunder, because I believe the Clippers, I knew it would go either way, but based on what I had said, I thought the Thunder would beat the Clippers. And I wasn't really sure about the Warriors versus, at the time, the Lakers. And the Warriors and the Timberwolves, it all comes down to defense, which I think the Warriors have. I mean, you got Jimmy Butler, you got Draymond, and you got Steph Curry for being clutch, turning it on when he needs to. Ant could definitely take over the series, but I think we'll have to wait and see. This is also feeling very 7-game, maybe 6-game series. I'm going to go and bet on Steph Curry in 7. Steph Curry being the MVP, most likely. Could be Jimmy Butler, but Steph Curry's the one to bet on. And then, so I got Thunder Warriors in the conference finals. Moving on to the East, Cavs Pacers. I got Cavs in 6. I don't think the Pacers are pushing this to a 7-game series. I think, as much as I was just complimenting the Thunder's team, I think Cavs have shown to be slightly more dominant, so they're kind of the more dominant. They're looking like the best team in the playoffs right now, in my opinion. And I think the Nuggets are a lot better than the Pacers. So I think the Cavs have an easier matchup, in my opinion. I just think Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, I just think the Cavs of the team will beat them. I just, out of the respect that it's the conference semifinals, I think the Pacers could have really good games against them. But I got the Cavs in 6. Moving on to the other one, we got Boston and New York. I'm going Boston in 7. This I think is going to be probably the most entertaining series out of the 4, personally. I mean, there's 2 other series I said will go in 7, but I just think the stage that Boston and New York bring, I think that's going to be the most entertaining. And it'll be Brunson and Tatum, and the Celtics, I just think are a bit more built for this. But I mean, previously I thought the Knicks would get over the hump sometime. It doesn't, so it could be this year. But I think if out of predictions and trying to get stuff right, I think that the Celtics will move on. I think Jason Tatum will I just think the Celtics as a team will play better and play better defense. But we'll see how it goes. So those are kind of my second round predictions. Running through the winners, I got Thunder in 7, Warriors in 7, Cavs in 6, and Celtics in 7, which means later my conference finals matchup would be Thunder, Warriors, and Cavs, Celtics. So that's going to be all for me. I'll try and make sure I'm going to look and try and make sure I'm ahead of when the conference finals starts so I can actually release the video before that happens. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As always, do you want to leave a comment talking about maybe something I'm wrong about, or your predictions, or something you want me to discuss about football, basketball? Just leave a comment and let me know. Thanks again, and goodbye. Whoa.